our last interview tonight? Well, on the interview. So someone just asked, can they interview me? So come on in, Liv. So I brought in one of our academy players here. We're going back. So I brought in one of our academy players, so Olivia Morris.
Hi everyone.
So she's going to be doing the interview with me tonight. So I'll give you a little background on myself, my humble self, which is going to be difficult. But anyway, all right, okay. So I'll get rid of these and fire away. Welcome.
What age did you start playing and where?
All right, so I first started playing, so I'm a country boy. So I come from a little town in the bottom end of Western Australia, so way down the bottom if you go to your maps, called Albany. It's 480 k's from Perth, so right down the bottom. The only two sports that are played in Albany are soccer and Aussie rules. I didn't like Aussie rules because it was a little bit physical for me and I was a little bit of a girl. But I took up football, soccer. So I started playing at, I think I was about 5 when I started playing. So I played in under 5s. I played up age groups all the way through until I was, I think maybe 13. I was playing 14s when I was 13. So I played up an age group all the way through. So that's when I first started playing, when I was a little tyke, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How many clubs have you played for and what were they?
All right, so lots of clubs. I can run. I think I played for about 3 clubs in Albany. I played for a senior club when I was 15 in Albany as well. When I came to Brisbane, I played for 3 clubs in Brisbane. Played for North Star Brisbane Strikers. Played for where else did I play? I played for a couple. I played for a club in Perth as well. I was in the Perth Glory youth system, so I was in their academy system, and I played for Rockingham United, which is north of Perth, about an hour's north of Perth. So that was the first senior club I played for.
That's good. What's your biggest achievement as a player?
My biggest achievements as a player is I made the under 17 shadow squad for the Socceroos, for the junior youth Socceroos. So I was in a squad, so 32-man squad. Also, probably my biggest achievement was playing senior football at 17 years old. So I made my senior debut at 17 years old. So I played senior football at 17, the old NSL days, so National Soccer League. So that was at 17 years old.
Mm-hmm. What positions have you played?
In my junior career, or in my playing career before I got old, and when I got old and started coming back, I played nearly every position bar goalkeeper. But when I was younger, I basically played as a striker, or we called it a 9.5 because we played an old 4-4-2. So I played in behind the big solid striker. I was the little quick guy. For you guys out there now, it'll probably be the 10. So I probably played the 10. I played a little bit of my career as a 9, but not as a hold-up 9, as a beyond 9. So when the ball was kicked past, I went and got it. That sort of 9. But yeah, most of my playing career was as a 9 or a 10. Sometimes I played a little wide, depending on if the coach wanted to play running 4-4-2. But yeah, so mostly in the middle of that part.
How did you get into coaching?
Took up coaching when my son was 7. So took up coaching first time when my son was 7. He had a coach that I watched for a little bit and couldn't understand what the hell she was doing at the time. No disregard to being a woman, but a mum. So again, gone down the mum path. Mum's been given who wants to coach the kids, and everybody sort of took a step back, and she was the only one standing there. So she gets stuck with the team and had no idea of what she was doing, and had a year where I watched Brandon play and got really frustrated with it. And the next year I decided, well, I'm going to take on coaching. So I started with Brandon's team when he was under 7s. I also was helping out as an assistant coach in an under 14s team. I think it was an under 14s team at Power. And then I was also going down to the senior men's, and I was in and around the senior men's setup, watching what they were doing and learning learning what they were doing from there and using some of that. So I basically started when Brandon was 7 years old, long time ago.
Who is your biggest influence in coaching?
I've had a few big influences in coaching. I had Terry Kirkham, who brought me into the senior men's program down at Peninsula Power, was a very big influence. Took a chance on me when I was a fairly novice coach. I learned a lot off him, how to structure training sessions and how to teach what you're trying to get the players to do on the weekend, how to structure your sessions to mirror what you're trying to do on the weekend and what sort of playing style what you're trying to play. So Terry was a big influence in what I did, but I think my biggest influence was probably Gordon Tulloch when I went to North Star. Gordon was the youth development, very 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 well respected coach over at North Star and our coach at Peninsula Power for the last 6 years. But he was probably my biggest influence in coaching. I think I learnt more in the 4 or 5 years I was with Gordon than I probably learnt, in 10 years of coaching on my own. So in those 4 or 5 years, I think I grew as a coach and started to understand what I was actually about as a coach. So probably, and the opportunities that Gordon gave me as well with coaching with international academies and stuff like that, I think Gordon was probably, my biggest influence in coaching.
What's your biggest achievement as a coach?
That's a hard one. I've had a lot of achievements as a coach. I've won grand finals. I've won leagues. I've won a lot of things, I think. But for me, winning things is a byproduct of what I'm trying to do. So I think that when I talk about my biggest achievements, I think of the structure that I'm building in the academy and what I've built at Power, with the players that are coming through and the development opportunities that we're giving some players that are coming through the program, I think is my biggest achievement. I think what we've built and we're building there, I think that it'll just go on, and I think that what I'm trying to build now hopefully will last long time after I'm gone, and someone will pick the torch up and keep going with that. So I think my biggest achievement to date is probably the developing of some of the players, and Liv, you're one of them as well, is probably going to go on to big things in the future. So, players like yourself, and I've had a few kids in the Raw and a few kids that have gone to other places overseas and stuff like that. So I think that those sort of things are from a personal achievement wise. I think they're big. They're probably high up on the list for me.
What licenses do you have to be a technical director?
To be a TD of a club, you have to have an A licence at the moment. So I'm working towards my A licence. I've done my first part of my A licence, and I'm supposed to be back on the 5th of July in Melbourne, back on my second part of my A licence, but that's been postponed now. So the technical staff on the FFA don't come back until the 1st of July. So there's nothing being done there, so that won't be happening, and we can't travel anyway. The borders are closed. So So at the moment, I'm on part A of my A licence, which I need to have to be a technical director at a club. They are looking at revisiting and making it a pro licence, but I'll keep going through and working through my licences, and hopefully this time next year I'll be an A licence coach, and then I can go on and apply to go on my pro licence and move forward from there. So. Yep.
So, just for the record, who's your favourite coach out of Hayden and Lucas?
Did Hayden ask you that, did he?
Hayden's online.
Yeah, Hayden would be online.
So's Lucas.
So I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. But if I had to put on the spot, I've known Lucas a lot longer than I've known Hayden. So, I've known Hayden a lot longer than Lucas. I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard one.
Hayden put up waiting. And Lucas put no mention to Hayden with that on your biggest coaching achievement. Hayden's not your biggest coaching achievement.
No. Hayden's not my biggest. But
Good coaches.
the other thing too on my achievement, the other thing on the achievements too is I have developed, and there is a lot of good coaches that are putting in a lot of work in this space as well. So for me, getting those, developing those coaches and giving back to the program where I can now give some of my knowledge to these coaches and make them better coaches, I think is a really, is a big achievement as well. And I'm really happy that, coaches like Jan, who's now gone on to his B license, he's gone on to his B license, and I've got some other young coaches coming through that are all going on to licenses as well, which, we're developing some really good coaches, and that within the program is another thing that we're, that is a big achievement for me as well. And I put that right high on the list as well.